Well, hey everybody, Urban back again, going back to a slip joint. Yeah, can you believe it? Urban, what the hell, man? Why are you going back to slip joints? Why are you talking about yourself in third person? So this is the Kunwu Geezer. Yeah, fun name. I really dig it. The Geezer, and it's an L-Max with fat carbon, and this fat carbon is awesome. I absolutely love this fat carbon. Looks really sick. This is actually the first pocket knife that I own now, that has fat carbon. I've been meaning to get something in fat carbon for the longest time, and I had absolutely no visions of me getting something in fat carbon, and it ended up being a slip joint. Like, really. I am surprising myself time after time these days. I don't know what the heck's going on with me. But in all seriousness, this is a really nice knife done by Kunwu. I have the Kunwu Padre. Extremely, insanely well made. It is a really awesome knife. Absolutely love it. Everybody seems to love theirs. So, yeah, I thought it would... And Kunwu's got every ounce of respect from me in their quality, in their builds, and their fit and finish, and their designs, and that is not skipped over at all with this slip joint. I think that this thing bridges a lot of modernness to the nostalgic old-time feel of what slip joints have always been historically, and it's just got some really cool flares. Hey, look, there's a pocket clip, and it's deep carry. What do you know? What's going on here? Yeah, they've really modernized it, not just in the materials of the blade being L-Max and the handle being this fat carbon material, and with titanium hardware and beautiful back spacer. This thing has a pocket clip, a deep carry pocket clip. Yes, indeed. Is it titanium? No, that definitely is magnetic. But anyways, and they got their little Kunwu K, which is, pretty rad, pretty cool. I had to get this thing for two reasons. One, I was really itching for some fat carbon in my collection, and this thing just looks beautiful. This fat carbon looks absolutely outstanding. Love it, love it, love it. So neat. Very vibrant colors. And then two, for a slip joint, damn, is this an awesome blade shape. Most of your slip joints, and I'll show you here, because I've got quite a few of them, there's a nice slim, slicey blade, right? Typical. Here's another, thin, profiled, slicey blade, right? Nice and thin. Here's the Benchmade Proper. Again, more of a slimmer, slicey blade, slim. Again, the theme here is that these blades are very slim, and that's typically what you get. That's what you're looking at with a slip joint, right? It's something slim, very thin profile, which the Geezer here is a very thin profile in pocket. He is very thin. Not insanely thin, but very thin. And that's kind of the trend is, as a slip joint is something that you just throw into the bottom of your pocket as having a nice little folder knife. If you gotta open something, cut something, then you've got something, and it's, doesn't eat up a lot of space or have much weight to it, and it's very slim profile. So the fact that the Geezer here has a nice tall grinded blade and some good belly, it's kind of a bit of a solid drop point there, which is nicely swedged. I really dig that blade shape. I really like that blade shape being on a slip joint. I think more slip joints need to have that. And then on top of that, these fullers right here. Boy, are these nice fullers. You know, slip joints typically have this little nail nick deal like that, or and like the proper here, you know, good little nail nick. And then MKM here, again, more modern materials, using that titanium, some micarta, and then doing a hole cutout instead of a nail nick. Definitely gives you a little bit more for purchase in opening and closing that blade. So I very much like that about this MKM. The modernness in the materials and the design on this MKM is what really got me in wanting to acquire this one, because I absolutely love the modern materials on it. And this guy's an M390. Yeah, it's Burnley design. Yeah, great little MKM. Couldn't tell you the name of it off the top of my head right now. I don't really follow MKM all that much in their knives and their designs. Just random ones have caught my attention. But yeah, this Kunwu Geezer is just really something different when it comes to your slip joints, and I think that that's really awesome. It's got jumping under here, jumping up there, nice, you know, big fullers, makes it super easy to grab and facilitate the opening and closing of the knife. This deep carry clip is fantastic for the sake of the fact that you don't have to go reaching for some kind of a leather slip for your pockets, so that your phone and other things don't get, or the knife itself and the handle material doesn't get scratched to hell with all the other things that you put in your pocket. This is great in how that guy just clips on there, the clip, the Kunwu clip. Well done, good job, thank you. I very much like it, other than the fact that it is a fully deep carry pocket clip. I mean, look how there's pretty much nothing to it. Ergo, lanyard, needing a lanyard for easy pulling it out of the pocket. And this guy, should we mention this guy? He's really cool. I got him off of Amazon. Yeah, he was on Amazon, and that is one hell of a bead. Isn't that dude just rocking? Like, that's a really sweet bead. And I'm not much of a bead guy either. Thank you, shout out to Beard of Doom for giving me a little bit of advice and pointers. I'd probably bug the crap out of him with my dumb questions on how many knots, where to do the knots, that kind of a deal. I'm not, yeah, so many knots. I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to stick with the 3 of the snake knot right here. So many knots. Shut up, Urban. Stop saying the word knot. I haven't decided to have the 3 or to do 2 and shorten it just a little bit. I have a small concern on the idea of protecting his little goatee hanging from his chin right here. So the idea of having a few more knots, an extra knot or 2 to kind of help protect that and add something behind that to help ensure that he doesn't break off, and is kind of, you know, some of the thought process on how many of these to do here at the back end. I definitely needed 3 here. I first tried doing just 2 there, but 3 really gives me a good amount of space for the pinky to wrap around it. So that was how that deciding factor went, because I first did 2 and was like, no, there's not enough there. I want a little bit more before the bead. So that became that. So there's a couple of other knots that I've tried to do here in place and just wasn't completely happy with how they ended up looking and the thickness of it. I felt like it was going to end up causing the opposite issue of, rather than not having enough there behind his goatee, to having too much behind his goatee, to where I could break them off that way, because of the bulk of the knot. So we're gonna continue to rock them and see how it goes, and maybe that'll change from 3 down to 2 in the future. Who knows? Who knows? I'm still kind of new and experimenting with different types of lanyards and different beads. This is probably the largest lanyard bead I've ever put on a knife. He pretty much is. He's definitely a big guy and sticks out quite a bit. So we'll just see how that goes. But I thought this dude was very appropriate looking for the knife in the name of it, and calling it a geezer. He's kind of, you know, that old kamikaze guy. He's a little bit of a geezer, right? So that's kind of what I was playing off of when I was thinking about what bead. I have one other slip joint that has a pocket clip, and I've had it for a while, and I carried it for a good while, and well, the main reason why I went away from it and just left it in the drawer for such a long time is, one, it's an N690, which is not, you know, the most, you know, favored steel in all the steels these days. It's not a bad steel, it's just a meh steel, I guess. But this is the Geezer Zip Slip, and looky, it's got a pocket clip, deep carry pocket clip too. No lanyard opportunity though. So I think that's one of the reasons why he doesn't continue to get carried, and didn't get carried as much as he possibly would have if it did have the ability to attach a lanyard. Because once you drop them in the pocket, there's really nothing, you gotta go digging for it to pull it out, and that kind of sucked. The other thing that I like about this one is it also, because of that forward choil, which is a usable forward choke-up choil, that's a great safety mechanism. And when you hold it in that position, same thing with the geezer here, when you choke up and you hold it there, you've got enough here with this jimping to ensure that you don't close it on yourself by accidental idiocracy. So that's what I absolutely love about the idea of having a clip on a slip joint. But this one kind of failed in the sake of the fact that when you throw a deep carry pocket clip and you don't offer the ability to throw a lanyard on, it becomes you're adding a minute amount of hassle in getting it out of your pocket. And so I think that was an inhibitor from carrying that one on a more regular basis. But hey, we're gonna make valiant effort to enjoy this Kunwu Geezer more than the Geezer Zip Slip. The Zip Slip also doesn't have a very tall grind, and it's not quite as thin behind the edge, so he's not as much of a slicer as you would typically want and find in your slip joints. It's actually gets fairly thick fairly quickly behind that edge, and so he's just not quite the slicer that most people typically enjoy with slip joints. Let's do a little bit of size comparison. Open them back up. The walk and talk on is great. I would say that on the 1 to 10 scale, as far as how stiff the action is for a slip joint, I would say it rocks around that 4.5 to 5.5, maybe 6. For some people, just depending on how you compare in the slip joints that you may have. But here it is size-wise compared to a Benchmade bug out. As you can see, the blade edge, blade length, is pretty much sitting right there at 3 inches. So it is, as far as slip joints go, it is a full-size slip joint. It is not one of your smaller ones. It is definitely full size. Here's, let's do another comparison. So there it is against Benchmade Bug Out. Almost identical in dimensions, insanely close in dimensions. Including the blade shape, height, the height of your blade shape. Again, this is not typical of slip joints to have that tall of a blade, that tall of grind. But I love it. I absolutely love it. Here it is against a pair 3. Very, very similar in dimensions. Excellent. Both, having right about that 3-inch blade length with a little bit of belly. Yeah, very nice. So as you can see, for a slip joint, this guy is no joke on the bigger side. Take a look at it against a Pena X Series Apache. Absolutely love this knife. Again, here's another knife that gives you that with that false bolster lock. Here's another knife, very thin blade profile, gives you a lot of those old school slip joint style vibes in a complete modern package with titanium and high-end steel M390 burlap micarta. What a great knife to also give you those nostalgic vibes that slip joints give you these days. So the Apache here is definitely smaller and more like your typical slip joint size is this, slim profile and definitely less than 3-inch blade. Whereas the Geezer here absolutely supersedes that in size and not being designed like a typical slip joint. There's your size comparisons and thoughts on that. And yeah, if the Kunwu Geezer catches your eye, maybe you need to get one. Maybe you need to get one of these beads too. One of these cool little guys. He's off of Amazon. I'll throw up the link in the description for this guy. Maybe you can check him out. He wasn't very expensive either. So yeah, there you go. There you have it. There's Urban's thoughts on the Kunwu Geezer. And for like the last week, I've been enjoying carrying this guy. It's been a lot of fun, and I absolutely love the overall look. It's very classy, very modern yet old school. Makes for a different piece and a great talking point. And it's function-wise, it's an awesome tool. It's an awesome knife. Love the way it slices. Love the way it cuts through things. So he's definitely been put to use so far, and is going to continue to get used quite a bit. And that's all I got for y'all today. So peace. Have a good one. Take care. Bye bye.